Yo, 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 what is up, guys? We are on part three of What If Goku Was in Naruto. We just got done with the Konoha Crush arc and the tuning exams, and we are now at the Search for Tsunade arc. So we're going to be starting this, and I'm really excited to get into how Goku is going to interact with the Akatsuki, and how he's going to interact with some more strong opponents. So for starters, I am going to have Goku accompany Jiraiya and Naruto on the search for Tsunade. I don't think Jiraiya would mind too much having another young Genin accompany him. And I think Goku would want to go on this trip, especially because Rock Lee and him would have a bond through the tuning exams, because they would be the only two Genins that they would know who have no affinity for ninjutsu whatsoever. So Goku having seeing a friend who's injured and seeing that there's somebody out there that can help to fix them up so that they can have their own fights and their own training, would be more than excited to want to go find the Tsunade person with them. So that's why I see he would tag along. When they eventually meet up with Itachi and Kisame, I think this would be very interesting. Like, they would still go off and lure Jiraiya away with his own vices. And I think Itachi would find this interesting because, like Orochimaru, he would know of Goku at least. Although he wouldn't really know what to make of how strong he is or isn't. And I think when they eventually knock on the door, Kisame is still going to, talk about cutting off Naruto's legs. And once that happens, I think Goku is going to, showing no fair hesitation, going to try to attack Kisame right away. Now, Itachi would kind of know that Goku Genjutsu doesn't work on Goku, because that would be something that would have been on Goku's files. And I think when Kisame starts to attack, he wouldn't take Goku too seriously at first, given his short stature and, kind of lighthearted demeanor. I think when Goku first lands a hit on Kisame would actually realize that this kid is no joke and would decide he needs to lock in. And I think a lot of their early fight would be Kisame trying to hit him with Samihara and Goku using like his size and nimbleness to dodge him in the air. But once Kisame gets more serious, I could see Goku getting significantly injured because Kisame would be focusing more on him. Eventually, Sasuke still shows up anyway, so you still have the really sad but attempt to Chidori him, but that Itachi would still go through what he did originally by breaking Sasuke's wrist, shoving him against the wall, putting him in Tsukiyomi. While this is happening, I think one thing that would be interesting in this timeline would be that Naruto, because he wouldn't be Kisame's full focus, would try to help both of them, by making some shadow clones, which is what he was initially going to do before Kisame absorbed his chakra. However, I think Sasuke would ask for him to butt out, and I don't think the clones would amount to much. Then eventually, Jiraiya would still come anyway, and from there, right, like Goku is still going to get injured. He's still going to basically have to go back to the hospital along with Sasuke, and the rest of the Tsunade arc would happen as normal. Eventually, Sasuke still decides to leave the Elite Village because he feels like he isn't strong enough and that he's not getting power at a rate that would be enough to deal with his brother. And in this scenario, Goku would also be a part of the recruitment team. So he would also set out with the other 5 guys to go after Sasuke. And Goku's inclusion is going to make a significant difference. So just initially, they're going to have a much easier time dealing with Jirobo, because when Goku notices everybody else is feeling his chakra absorption, he won't be able to stall them as much because Goku would not be affected by it. So they would destroy the dome. And honestly, I think Goku could probably one-shot Jirobo with the current strength that he has right now. So they would save significant time going after the rest of the Sound 4. And on top of that, they would also have 2 extra people in Choji and Goku while doing that. So they would still go after them. They would still capture the gourd, and the rest of the Sound 4 would still go after them. You would still have Neji splitting off with the rest of the group to fight Kidomaru. And you would also have Kiba still splitting off with the rest of the group to find Sakon and Ukon. Eventually, Kibimaru catches up and tries to catch the gourd. However, Goku could sense that this guy is a lot stronger than his peers, decides to take him on himself. So they kind of go out for a 1v1, and you're kind of just left with Tsuyu trying to chase down Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji by herself. I think when it comes to the Goku-Kibimaru fight, it would be interesting because due to Kibimaru's ability to harden his bones, I don't think it would harden to the point where Goku wouldn't be able to hurt him or injure him. And in fact, I think upon the first exchanges, right, given how good a drunk Rock Lee did, Kibimaru would know he needs to turn up the heat on their fight a lot sooner. So I think he would go into the second stage significantly earlier in the fight. And I don't think this would be enough to really trouble Goku anyway. He would still be in firm control of the fight, and eventually Kiyomaru would just succumb to his sickness anyway, and that would be the end of that. And while that is going on, I think Choji and Shikamaru would eventually split from Naruto to buy him time to get back with the Gourd, and they would fight Yuya. And I actually see this fight going in their favor even before the rest of the sound siblings show up, because originally Shikamaru was able to catch her in the shadow, with the shadow, but he just didn't have enough stamina to maintain it enough to offer the finishing blow. And truthfully, I think with the training he's had with Goku and the increase to his physical abilities, he might be able to take her by himself. But with Choji there, all he would need to do is just cause a diversion, right? Catch her in the shadow paralysis, and Choji can just finish her off. So I don't really see them having any trouble. And then while Naruto has the Gourd, I still think Sasuke is going to eventually escape, and Naruto is going to chase after him. And so they're still going to have their fight at the Valley of the End, and it's still going to end similarly with Sasuke winning and eventually running off to Orochimaru. And so the Sasuke retrieval mission will still unfortunately end in a failure, and eventually Naruto still decides to head off with Jiraiya to train for 2.5 years, and Goku is going to train by himself as well for those 2 years, dealing with the fallout from Sasuke, as well as, he just fought with the Akatsuki as well. So he's aware that there's a lot of guys out there above his pay grade at the moment that he needs to overcome. So he would probably spend a lot of his time training with Team Asuma, as well as Team Guy. So I'm definitely excited to see what the Shippuden era is going to bring with Goku's presence. If you guys liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. And most importantly of all, remember to have a good day.